Greetings, fellow Chad. Oh, don't touch my armpit. What the? Stop touching my armpit! You have a armpit fetish or something?
Of course I do. You know this.
Oh God, what are those? Those are even weirder than foot fetish people.
Yeah, dude.
I like armpits.
He has an any pit fetish.
He just likes anything that he can touch.
Why buy a comic you might get as a surprise? Santa's coming soon, so you all better be nice. I don't know if I can quite do the two dwarf braids like this.
Don't do
If I
it.
split it halfway, or if I just... I don't like the curly pubes look. I think I gotta get something going.
No comment.
That was your comment from like a year ago. But anyway.
I mean, it is a very, very, very similar type of hair. That is how it works.
I mean, what you should do
I want to
is
get
just...
like a beard bead.
Yeah,
right
do that.
there. Yeah.
I've just continually...
one.
I've offered up my pubes in service of his beard, but he won't take them.
I don't need them. I
It's
just
so
you
disgusting. You say I'm gross. You're talking about femboys and... Does Grace have to be worried about something? Does she have concern?
None of your business.
Dude, maybe she's into the femboys, and you're one of them.
No, definitely not. She might be. She might be a little f***ed up, but not that f***ed up.
All females are f***ed up. All females are f***ed, okay? Prove me wrong.
And with that, welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast.
I wish you kept this serious.
I know.
Intro.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast, where three broke dudes sit around a microphone and try not to say very bigoted things because we have very bad tastes of humor.
This is true.
How are we all doing?
Oh, I just right when I realized that it was
so
Friday.
horny right now.
I'm so horny for Mandalorian. I haven't watched the newest episode.
Well, it's a good thing we're only talking about episode 3 tonight. We're not talking about episode 4. We're a week behind because we're all special, just in case we miss something.
So that means whenever anyone listens to us, we're 2 weeks behind.
Yeah.
That's based. All right.
Yeah. So what do we want to start with? We want to start with the news.
I say we should do the original layout. You know, the gang is back together. We're all in a good mood. I think we should...
What sort of a gang would we be in? What sort of streetwear would we have?
Gangbang.
We'd probably be well, to start off with, we would have the socks and sandals rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Probably
Denim
sweatpants
shorts.
with that. Yep, denim shorts is a close
Wife beaters.
second.
Okay, I don't know, because I think I'd be a part of the lead group at this point.
So
That is very true.
I don't really like wearing wife beaters because I'm so freaking skinny. You can see through all 3 holes on top of the shirt, and it's disgusting. Like, there is no secret. There's no point in me even wearing a shirt when I'm wearing a wife beater. So
I was going to say, there is also no point in you wearing a shirt.
I was gonna say the same thing. I don't like wife beaters on me, dude. I'm so way too insecure about my body that I'd rather wear like huge ass coats and hoodies.
I like your body.
same.
Thanks, Dad.
You made that even weirder. All right, we're going to go into the news. So we do have an updated trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
Which was released in black and white, as well as with a few new frames of footage.
I didn't watch that.
I only sent the news yesterday, but okay.
I usually don't read the news.
Yes, so we do have it. So
because I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, so we have the original Hallelujah trailer. It got taken down temporarily for music rights issues.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, so they republished it over the past a few days ago, with about 4 or 5 new shots in it. It was also released in black and white for a little while. And during some interviews, because Zack Snyder doesn't do interviews with entertainment magazines, he does interviews with freaking YouTubers like a boss.
I love that. This is why we love Zack Daddy.
This is correct. So he hinted at the fact that he's really hoping to get a IMAX release in black and white because that's kind of how he's been
Whoa.
watching it while it's been sitting on his hard drive, is in black and white and on his massive screen at home.
Why in black and white?
Because that's what he wants.
That's what he what?
Basically, that's just what he wants. That's what he says.
Oh, that's what
He's
he
like,
wants. I heard you say aunts.
because that's what he wants. That's what he wants. No, that's what he wants.
So he wants it in
Colin,
black and white.
In a sense, because like that's how he's been watching it. I don't
For
necessarily
the sense of that's how he's been watching it, or because that's his bias.
both. I think.
Okay.
I don't. In all honesty, I don't think that'd be the best idea. Like
No.
definitively, because he doesn't shoot like the differentiation between colors in his films is in shade and hue, not in
Mhm.
like massive color differences.
No,
So
yeah.
it does show up. You know, you see it in black and white. It's not the most presentable experience. I would
Hey,
100%
but-
watch it in
Oh
black
yeah,
and white.
no, I think
To be
if
fair-
it was only released in black and white, I think that would be a problem. But if it's black and white and also regular color, we need
Yeah.
that. Sorry, Jacob.
So, you're talking about Zack Daddy's colors not being sharp contrasts, but I'm willing to bet they could do a retro color shift like they did with Logan or Mad Max Fury Road. Like those both came out really, really well. So
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I'm sure it could work.
willing to bet that they could do some movie magic to make it still
Yeah.
look freaking good.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
of
sure.
course.
It's just part of it's like, can we just watch it in theaters normally first? But
Mhm.
would
So-
definitely be down.
Colin,
Yep.
I think you and I should make a side bet right now
Oh.
as to how many hundreds of dollars Spencer will lose
Oh,
watching this freaking
willingly
movie.
sacrifice on the altar.
well,
Yeah, whatever.
okay.
Because I mean, we can make it complicated too. Because how many times will he see it in color? How many times will he see it in black and white?
Okay.
How many
Ha-
times will
you
I
know?
purchase it on
So,
Blu-ray?
so out of all the times that he goes and sees it, if we're able to go see it at like this in a theater, half of the amount of that he went, I will be joining him. So I'll go as many times as I can, and it'll probably be with Spencer every single time I go.
Well, yeah, I want you to hold my hand the whole time.
Yeah, I gotta hold
So we
his
can
butthole.
scream together.
Yep,
I'm interested in seeing it in the black and white IMAX,
that'd be cool.
but
Yes.
it would just be once for me, and
Yeah,
then the
prob-
rest of the time I'll watch
Oh,
it in color
for
on
sure.
in black
HBO.
and white, definitely once. But
If I owned it on disc, the black and white, I
Every
would
once-
probably
every-
watch it like every once in a while. But
yeah.
I'll only physically go see it in theater if it's black and white once.
yeah.
But
I
probably
will.
multiple
I will
times.
track every penny I spend on it just for this. Even if you guys don't actually make a bet yet, I will track every time I either view it in a cinema, if it does get a theatrical release in any extent, and how many times I purchase it on Blu-ray. So I have an article from GameZone.com. Quote, Marvel's Avengers has been out for about 2 months, and it's been a bit bumpy. After several years in development, the game came out to a lukewarm reception. After a few weeks, the game's player counts declined below 1,000 on Steam. Needless to say, this has not been making the same kind of money that any of the Avengers movies have had. Square Enix has reported a loss of 6.5 billion yen, which is about 63 million American. Marvel's Avengers reportedly sold about 3 million copies, and the game cost $100 million to make. Marvel's Avengers supposedly makes up a good portion of that $63 million loss, end quote.
Well, are we really surprised? 'Cause
No.
honestly, I think mostly all the people that were going to buy this game didn't like it anyway. Like from the first trailer, we got Lord Farquaad as Black Widow. And just like redhead Lord Farquaad.
Nice.
So like it already looked like shit. Captain America looked so fucking bulky. How the hell is he supposed to move around? Whatever. But like besides visually, we already knew that it was going to be like a type of like shit game just from what it was trying to be, and it's just trying to make money off of the fact that it's Avengers because of the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Movies.
So the problem is,
The gameplay isn't very engaging. It's very samey.
like, Spencer and I were both talking about waiting for it to drop in price from its $60 price tag.
Yeah.
But the
$5.
problem is, because it's got such a low player base right now, there's like no point in even getting it on sale because
No.
you can't do parts of the game without people helping you out, other players.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, because it's a co-op based game. Yeah.
Man, they really just themselves, huh?
A
So-
bit, yeah.
They really need to make it like a $10 game and try to get people on board. Like maybe not $10, but you know what I mean. They need to drop the price.
Yeah, they need to drop price to at least like 40 or something.
It's definitely
add
the fact that
content.
they wanted to make it
and-
more of a live service, but they didn't really have the
Right.
gameplay to back it up. Like I've heard the story's pretty decent. I only got to play a demo, but the gameplay felt very similar between all the characters. Because it's a video game, you kind of have to make all the powers relative, but it did not get my attention.
Yeah, I just saw like a trailer or two, and I saw some people talking about it, and I'm like, wow, this just looks so bad. I'm not going to give it like any attention after this.
Last piece of news, which is a very big one. This happened yesterday.
Right.
Wonder Woman 84 will be releasing on Christmas Day, as it's been pushed to somewhat recently, in theaters and on HBO Max at no additional cost.
Nice.
So some interviews have come out from a lot of the filmmakers and some of the people involved in the studio. They basically said people are going to get tired of seeing the marketing all the time, and they're going to have to keep paying more and more for marketing if they push it out even further. I believe it was supposed to come out in June of this year, June or July. So they had to push it twice, and they may as well just release it. So if people want to see it in theaters, they can, and it'll drive even more subscriptions to HBO Max because,
because if they're worried about our pandemic and going to the theaters, they might watch buy HBO Max and watch the movie.
Right.
That would probably be a small percentage of people, because at this point, I think most people don't give a shit and are pretending that the pandemic isn't a real thing.
But also, most theaters are either closed permanently or still closed or reclosing.
Or they're opening up with certain type of rules.
A few, but like the big
Not
chain,
many.
one of the two big chains.
I don't think any of our
closed.
theaters are open, right?
Regal died, basically.
That sucks. That really sucks.
Yeah, AMC is the largest theater chain. We don't have any of those. Yeah, everybody's just relying on reruns. So it's definitely good to get another release out there, but it definitely makes sense to do a dual release, also at no additional cost. Don't do what Mulan did. That was a bad idea.
What
and
Mulan
a bad
do? Just
$30 on top of the service cost. For
Disney's
really,
so dumb.
For a really bad movie.
Disney
at that.
is real dumb.
They can be pretty dumb.
Really dumb.
I really want to watch this. We must watch this. We must watch.
I'm not that excited about it. I could probably live without it, but I think I will
Why
watch
are
it.
you wrong?
No, I mean, like, you can like it, but I'm just the first movie was good. I wasn't really super hyped for it when it came out, except for the fact that it was connected to Zack Snyder's universe. I don't know. I'm not too excited about that at this point because my interests lie in other genres.
I feel like he's trying to deny the fact that he really likes the rope, but he won't admit it.
I'll leave that unsaid.
Mostly aligned with Colin. When the first one came out, I was like not super hyped for it, but I still went to the theater and came out like, all right, that was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
it's a decent movie.
I won't buy it.
Pleasantly surprised, but yeah, it's just okay. So kind of the same thing for the second one. It's like I will still see it in theaters once just to see it and know how it is, unless like the reviews come out and say it's the worst movie ever, in which case I'll wait.
Yep.
So that's the end of the news.
We don't have any more news?
Not really, no.
For sure. Shark Boy
It's
and
been
Lava
a
Girl.
slow
That
weekend.
doesn't really seem newsworthy.
I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it right now, though.
Sure. Yeah. So we're getting a sequel / spiritual sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl. That was really out of left field and still looks like ass, but I do want to watch it.
It looks like the same type of CGI that they always had, which I'm actually happy about because that like gave it. That's like their genre almost.
Charm.
Their charm. It's like CGI. But like that's just so weird to look at. Shark Boy with his friggin' shark like helmet. What is that?
Jacob, your awakening was 100% Lava Girl. Don't deny it.
I'm pretty sure that's a spin-off from Spy Kids, and I never saw anything from that series at all.
It's not, but it definitely has some commonality in terms of tone and general lack of quality.
I mean, it's made by the same people.
Same, I think, production studio.
Yeah.
So that just shows how much or how very little I know about this. Never seen it. Don't know anything about it.
Oh, Spy Kids 3D. Oh, that
I
thing was
love Spy Kids 3D.
it's so bad.
I will go back and watch the third one any day.
Don't you want to just curl up on the couch with your 3D glasses on at home and get nauseous?
Your really shitty blue and like magenta 3D glasses. They're like, whoa, I can almost feel it, bro.
Teal and magenta.
Okay, fine. Teal and magenta.
Everybody jokes about shitty 3D movie effects, and I've never ever had a problem with it. I've always enjoyed 3D movies.
I haven't really had a problem with it. I just don't see the use in it for the most part,
Well, no,
unless the
it's-
movie is
yeah.
like made for it.
It's but like it doesn't mean I don't find it entertaining. I love it. But it doesn't mean it's good.
So that is definitely the end of the news.
All right, cool.
I frequently wonder if I would appreciate Avatar as a movie if I saw it in 3D.
I will
'Cause-
never watch Avatar.
Really?
Like everybody pushes.
I have
shit.
mixed feelings on it.
It was so freaking boring. I stopped watching it, and I wasn't even halfway through. It
so
sucks.
how Avatar looks to me. Everyone loves this movie for some reason.
They really don't. They genuinely, most people don't. Most people barely remember it. It's because it was gimmicky.
Yeah, it looked like actually no, the only like good thing that came out of like Avatar had to been like how the water was. Like I know the water effects where why is Jacob dying? Why is he dying?
He was deep throating a bottle a second ago.
Oh, is that why you got the fucking jar in your mouth? I mean,
Maybe.
I can get probably my handle in my mouth.
I'm sure you could fit that whole
I
mug.
can't. No, dude.
You've got a big enough mouth.
Mm-mm. But Avatar, it just there were some CGI things, like good new things that came out of that movie for like CGI, like the water, how like flowy the water was, and how it hit like the characters and the surroundings. But for the most part, that movie was like the story was
Unobtainium. Very unique original metal name.
Unobtainium.
Yes.
Dumb.
I'm kind of glad that I have found people to agree with me that Avatar sucks ass. Like, everybody I talk to, I say Avatar, and they're like, dude, isn't that the greatest movie ever? And I'm like,
It's the worst.
no.
You come across some weird people. I've never met someone that like genuinely
Most of the
really likes it. Like I have
Most people I know like that movie.
That's weird. I have a morbid
Yeah.
interest. There's a lot of interesting stuff with like how the music was supposed to be done and then got scrapped last minute. Like there's interesting things mostly behind the scenes though.
You really only like behind the scenes of things. You don't actually care about movies or shit. You just like behind the scenes.
No,
That's just how you are, and that's fine. I
I'm just
appreciate it.
special.
You're special in the head, all right.
Oh yeah.
All right, so moving on
Spare parts, aren't
to
you, bud?
what we've been reading.
Jacob, what have you been reading?
I was gonna start. Back up, me man. I read Moon Knight from 2014, Volume
Ooh.
1, which is issues 1 through 6, and written by Warren Ellis.
Yes. This
This is my first, technically my first thing with Moon Knight ever. Back when I had Comixology this year, I started one book, and then that was like the day that I got rid of Comixology because I would have had to pay a lot more for it than what I was. So it was like interesting, but didn't read enough to have an opinion on it. But anyway, issues 1 through 6 of 2014's run. I really liked the artwork. It was pretty simplistic. I especially loved the contrast of his suit with the rest of the world. It was kind of like it was similar to like Batman the Animated Series, like being drawn on black paper. Like it just
Yeah.
looks so different. So if you had an almost like a glowing character on all black paper, it just stands out. It pops. It's
Yep.
very bright.
Yeah,
in a
there's
dark
like barely
world.
any shading. It was kind of like, or barely any shading in Moon Knight, the character.
Right. Yeah. Each issue was kind of like an episodic mystery show with like supernatural elements. Like
Mhm.
each issue, he's trying to solve a mystery or save the good guy from the bad guys or something. It was all self-contained in each issue, and pretty well written. The issue that stands out the most is kind of like a John Wick or Die Hard type issue where it's a hostage situation and they're being held on the 5th floor, and the place is full of bad guys, and Moon Knight's like, well, I guess I'll walk through the front door.
Yeah,
And
that was
he
such a good one.
beats the crap out of them. It is really well illustrated fight scene, basically. The whole issue is a fight scene that's really well drawn.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, my only complaint is that I know he has identity dissociative disorder. Is that the correct term?
Dissociative identity disorder.
TID.
Yeah, whatever. I like id better because of id software. But anyway, I know he has that as part of his character, but for the most part in this volume, he is only one Moon Knight, the one with the nice press suit.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Citizen Knight.
And
Citizen
sometimes,
Kane.
like at the end of the issue, he'd be sitting like in his living room talking to Khonshu, the Egyptian god.
Yep.
So I didn't realize that was one of his 4 identities. It always seemed different. It always seemed like he was talking to the god instead of talking to himself, who identifies as the god. So
Well,
pretty much I only saw 2 identities out of the 4.
He doesn't identify as the god. He is like he is the god's vessel. He is what passes his 4 attributes.
Right.
And as you go into the second volume, you will see more of the attributes, because it does explain his regular human counterparts, like the people he plays as. But they'll talk about it, but they'll show more of the Moon Knight aspect characters, where it's like, the detective, the one who was wearing the suit. Then we have the superhero one with the cape and the hood. And then you have the more Egyptian armor / bone armor type of Moon Knight. That'll be introduced in the second one as well. So you just have to go through that. The first one is more of just a introduction.
So Colin, what have you been reading?
I don't think I've actually read anything this week, but I did buy a manga series, which I'll be reading. And
I know where this is going.
And you know what? You know which one it is?
Tell the audience.
I would tell the regular
series.
name, but I'll call it by what you know it as. Chroma X's Ganglion.
Ganglion.
Ganglion. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I bought the manga, and it is hella thick. There's like...
And he didn't just buy the first volume.
I bought all 5 omnibuses.
Oh, it's only 5? I thought it was 6.
It's probably 6. There's 6 of them.
Dude, you got problems.
No, because that's like the only way I could buy it. I couldn't like buy individually. This thing is so hard to find. And this is the only one that I found in English, and the only omnibus I found. So I got lucky that it was an omnibus and in English.
Get good, scrub, learn Japanese.
No.
Well, then he wouldn't have weeb status. He'd be actual Asian culture appreciator.
Japanese culture. Okay,
Spencer,
moving on. Stop.
What have you been reading?
So I reread The Killing Joke. Because of course
oh my
I did.
Gosh.
What? At least I read something this week, smartass.
Shut the up.
Yeah, so the 1988 one shot. I was reading the 30th anniversary reprint. So it has the recoloring done by Brian Boland. So it's got the black and white, like super desaturated with the one standout color type flashbacks.
All right.
So you called it a one-shot. I thought it was just a single issue in a long-running series, like the original series. Like it wasn't.
No, it was a one-shot.
It's not like Last Night on Earth, where it's just a story by itself. I thought it was part of the continuing series.
Nope. It was added later
sure?
into continuity, kind of, but it just one shot. That's it. That's why there's
I'm
debates
pretty
whether or not it was even in continuity.
All right. Because I'm pretty sure I read an interview by the author saying he didn't think it was anything special. It was just another weekly or monthly or whatever the frig issue.
No, that was just Alan Moore being a boomer. Because it wasn't even his idea to write it. It was Brian Boland who got contracted for the story to do the art, and then he eventually picked Alan Moore to write it. Alan Moore doesn't really give a shit about superheroes. He never really has.
Not really.
Even though he can kill some freaking Swamp Thing, he doesn't really care. It's cape shit to him. So he refers to things very dismissively. It was just another writing gig for him.
Pretty much.
Ironic that it became one of the most influential comics of all time.
I think it's kind of overrated.
I don't disagree with you. But that doesn't mean it's not really, really, really,
relevant.
really fucking good and stupidly relevant.
I don't think it's like as good as you would say, but that's my opinion on it.
Opinions.
But I don't find it that entertaining or that great. But I can find the value in it.
I think it's because we grew up well after the impact was already felt. So like we don't have the contrast of like the pre and post where we just know, Killing Joke, it's been a thing forever. It's always been important. It's always been really good. And it's always been reprinted 1,000 times because it's really, really good and important. And it's just become background noise.
Mm-hmm. I think that can be valid, but you can also say that for the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns.
Also true.
But I don't feel that way towards the Dark Knight Returns. I still get so excited whenever I read that.
It really depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what appeals to you because they're wildly different books.
That's true. Sorry.
I really like it. You're not wrong. It is, I think, a bit overrated in terms of like there are things much better, but I think you can't
dismiss it.
Yeah, you can't dismiss it being like, well, it's overrated, thusly I don't like it. Like, no, I still really like it. It's a good read. It's a pretty brief one, but it does have a lot of thematic weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I
what
really
bugs me about it is that it's like 130 pages and $20 or 25 or something. It's like it is a single issue, and it's just pretty small at that.
Yeah, it's actual issue-wise, I think is like 64 pages, and then the rest of it is the forward, acknowledgement. There's another short strip that was written and illustrated by Brian Boland that is included in the back of the newer editions. It's kind of relevant, but yeah. I enjoyed it. I was glad I picked up another copy because I can't find my other one.
Oof, that sucks. Moving on, though.
Jacob, what have you been reading?
I read volume 2 of Moon Knight, but this one was written by Brian Wood. It's issues 7 through 12. So yeah, Warren Ellis was only hired for the first 6 issues, and then Brian Wood was brought on for the next 6. The biggest change I saw in this volume was that every issue ended on a cliffhanger. Whereas the first volume was episodic and self-contained. But that's because each issue in this volume was a connected story. The first 2, you were like, well, that was weird. And then the next issue starts and you're like, all right, it's just another issue. I guess they'll go back to that. But no, 7 through 12 are all connected. It's all one story.
Yep.
Interlinked. And like Colin was saying, we get to see the other Moon Knight personalities in this book, but I wonder how much of that is because it's a different writer. It's a little curious.
Is it a different writer? I thought it was one guy that did all 3 volumes.
No. He just,
as far as I could tell. I mean, Colin might be right. I might have had bad research, but I mean, also I bought the first 2 volumes on Google Play because they were like $4 each, and apparently volume 3 isn't on there. So,
bro,
I don't know, man.
Physical copies are so expensive. They're
Yeah.
so expensive.
We went over this, yes. We have recordings of you screeching about it.
Yes, and I like screeching about it.
Yes, you do.
So, as a book and a continuous story, it's pretty good. It's pretty well written. The artwork pretty much stayed the same as far as I could tell. The only thing is that the conflict, I guess I can summarize really quick. Khonshu leaves Moon Knight and empowers a different person, and Moon Knight's like, "Frig you doing? They're clearly the villain here." And Khonshu's like, "Yeah, but they are more badass than you, so I'm leaving."
Oof.
That whole thing was kind of dumb, I thought, because like Moon Knight was saying, they were clearly the villain. It was self-aware writing that didn't really land, I thought. I mean, overall, it was still a good story, and I would like to read more Moon Knight if I can get my hands on it. But this was a good little appetizer for the... Is it a TV show or movie coming up?
It's a series.
I'd like to add on to what you're saying about that conflict, if that's all right with you guys.
By all means, good sir.
All right, so I actually disagree with you on that because I
disagree with you on all of the points that you made.
Yes, I do actually, because
Fight to the death.
So it was a good point.
No, fight to the pain.
So in the comic, I think it's a good point in Moon Knight's storyline because it shows how such a god Khonshu is and how selfish he is, because he's not like an all-knowing, all-seeing god, and he's kind of like not really even a god. He's like a intergalactic entity, and so he just has these type of powers, and he just gives them whoever he pleases, and to try to basically do what he wants them to do. And so that also shows to Moon Knight, our main character, that he is kind of nothing without Khonshu, his god. So without each other, Khonshu without Moon Knight, Khonshu is and doesn't do anything good. While Moon Knight without Khonshu, Moon Knight isn't able to protect his city in his best ability. So it shows kind of like a, would you say, symbiotic relationship?
Symbiotic,
Maybe.
Symbiotic.
Yes, set Spencer off again.
Interlinked. But actually, I like that conflict. So.
Oh. Wow. My dads are fighting, and I don't know what to do about this.
Not really fighting, because that was kind of... I don't know. I think our points kind of agree a little bit. Colin's just saying that it defines the character a little bit better. Like Moon Knight was saying, she's clearly the villain, and Khonshu's like, yeah, I know, but she's stronger than you are, so I'm out of here.
Yeah, I know, but you.
Strong.
Right,
He was basically just being petty as Khonshu was just being like an angry boyfriend.
Nice.
Boyfriend or girlfriend?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be rude to all females, but
you already have that.
Look, guys can be really petty too. Let's remember that. Let's remember that, boys.
We're just trying to make up
Stop
for that
joking on
opening
dick.
joke.
So, Colin, you haven't been reading or purchasing anything else, I take it?
Not that I'm aware of. So you next.
Nice. So I read Joker Killer Smile, which is a
Killer Smile?
Yes. Joker: Killer Smile. It is a 3-issue miniseries with a one-shot, which is Batman the Smile Killer, which was published. It's part of DC's Black Label, published in 2019 and 2020. written by Jeff Lemire and illustrated by Andrea Sorrentino, I believe. So it's another Black Label book set in its own continuity with its own version of characters, but
it's different this time.
But it still is. It's
Of
really,
course.
it's genuinely impressive how many different writers can write the same thing and it's still different. So this book had a really sick sense of like fun and cheer with the color palette, and a lot of the elements being used were like really childish and goofy, but also really grotesque sometimes. I think this is an idea. I don't know if it's whether that's a good or a bad thing, or if it's confirmed, but I think some of the faces were lightboxed, which, depending upon how honest you are about it, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with lightboxing. I've done it myself with, like, that's how I learned how to draw faces a little better. But
What is Lightbox?
Colin, why don't you explain lightboxing? Because I'm sure you can explain it much easier than I can, even though it's a stupidly simple concept.
You know what's funny? I didn't know what you're talking about until you said drawing over faces. I'm like, oh, okay. So lightboxing is when you have an already drawn picture or a picture of someone's face, and you put another piece of paper over that. And these are both over a light box, a box of light, hence the name. And so then you just draw over you just draw the picture that you see. So it's like you draw it on the paper, transfers from the picture or whatever you have.
Yeah,
and it's like a guideline for faces or something. Or
it's used a lot in 2D animation, like films as well,
so that you can have
consistency between different artists doing the same thing. I don't see. That's what I mean. Is I don't know. I might just be suspicious. It just seems very, very consistent with itself, where it seems almost potentially artificial, but the inking done over top of it helps with it a lot. So it doesn't feel like, I can't confirm that. I didn't look at any of the pencil work.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with stuff.
So
like
I'm not,
that,
yeah, like I'm not
to save
gonna,
time.
right. I'm not going to say that it was, I'm just saying I have suspicions. I don't really care much either way. It was very consistent, like face wise. But it kind of ties into the weird sense of humor, like visually speaking, because the art is very, the line work is very thick. Like, think like rough pieces of charcoal from a fire type. And I like it. It just, sometimes it feels kind of artificially done, which could just be the inking. It might just be digital inking. I don't know these things.
No, I just hate thick, like super ridiculously thick lines anyway, because it takes away, if you have that thick of lines in your drawing, you're already showing everyone that this is a 2D character over a plane. It's like, it doesn't give it any 3D value. There's no depth there's no synchronization with the character and the background. And that bothers me.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Not everyone sees it that way, but I just particularly do not like it.
I haven't seen, like, it feels familiar in a sense to something.
Takes me out.
It feels like I might have seen this type of art done somewhere, and I just don't know where. But
probably kids shows or something.
Maybe
there's a lot of stuff like that.
I really don't know. I think you would find it, even if you don't like it. I think you might find it an interesting read. For the
What's
sake
the read
of
again?
Joker Killer Smile. I'll just give you the book. I'll lend you the book.
All right, sure.
The art was interesting through the whole thing. I wouldn't call any of it bad. There are different elements of it that felt a little funny. It might just be my taste. The story is basically, Joker has a new psychiatrist. They think they can fix him. It's a story that's been done to death.
Yeah.
But
the Joker's cured. He's healed.
No, but that's the thing. Yeah. So basically he drives his doctor crazy in about 5 minutes.
Of course.
But I really liked the time distortion that was included. Like, he doesn't realize how much time is passing, because, like, you as the reader don't even totally know, because of what the Joker is telling the audience / the doctor versus what he's saying versus what we're seeing. It's very fragmented. So it's like, hey, I've been treating you for like 3 days and I already hate you. And it's like, it's been like 3 years. What do you mean? It causes a lot of personal problems in his life, which I don't want to get into in detail, but I think it has a new perspective in terms of the structuring to what is kind of an overdone story in that sense, but did like it. I liked the twists in it. The follow-up one-shot is technically after the initial 3 issues, and it's taken from Batman's perspective, and it makes you question whether or not Batman even exists, which has also been done a bit but not like this. I can't really explain how.
I don't think you can go wrong with that idea of writing about Batman not existing, because he's such a mythos to the Gotham mind to a certain year point,
right?
That it's like, is Batman real, or like what's going on?
Yeah,
what
and
is this?
It's the whole Bruce Wayne gets trapped in the hospital. He's like, guys, I'm Batman. They're like, yeah, we know you're Batman. But there are enough hints dropped where he gets just enough spark of hope in the end and he breaks out of Arkham. It's like, no, Batman's real. And he's always been real. You've been being fed lies. It really showed in a more visual sense how manipulative the Joker is, which I think is something we don't usually see. Even in a book like Harleen, which Jacob and I both enjoyed, it doesn't show you how manipulative he is, like how it actually would feel. It comes, you understand it from the perspective of whatever character
you're seeing it from a third person perspective instead of being
this
part of it.
Right. This is a very first person book, and I really, really enjoyed that.
I'll probably have to snag that off of you.
I have such mixed feelings, but I did think it was very good. I would have liked a couple more issues centered in the world as a whole. It felt like it was a bit of a breezy read. I think I did it in like 40 minutes tops.
Yep.
It's not very long. It is also very visually heavy. There is not a lot of dialogue.
All right.
But I'm interested. Jeff Lemire is already heralded as a great writer, so I have already read some of his other stuff. I do want to do some more research into the illustrator just to see some more of their work.
I sent Colin a sample of the artwork, so I wanted to look at it.
Oh,
yeah, that's probably a pretty good sample of what a lot of it looks like. It gets way more trippy, but in terms of overall art style, that's pretty similar.
You know what is actually so here's another example of like Lightbox that can work, but it's not really Lightbox. So there is an artist, and this, I can't remember his name, but this artist has done Hellboy before.
Oh yeah.
And so what this artist does is he, in a program, he makes this clay sculpture of his characters, either body or
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Face or body. And what he does is he either looks at it and he like moves the head or body to where like positions he wants and looks at the shadows, and he draws what he sees instead of drawing from his brain. Or what he does, what other people do, not him specifically, but what other people do is take that statue-like image, place it in a panel, and set it up in the panel how they want it, and they draw over it, making the lines. And so that's actually what this kind of looks like, the art that Jacob just sent me for the book that Spencer was just talking about. That's cool. I actually like when people do that. I don't understand as an artist how that, not understand, I don't particularly like doing that, because then I can't see the lines. But as an artist, that is probably the most fundamental thing that you should be doing. But I'm not very traditional.
Really?
At times.
I never knew that about you.
I'm just lazy. All right, Jacob, what else have you been reading?
That was it for me. I still have a couple pages left of the metal intro. So I was close, but didn't get it this week. So
nice. So I read a book.
Why'd you skip me?
Because we know you don't have anything else, dumbass.
I know, but I just want to say something.
You just want to be offended.
Yes, I do.
What?
I bought Batman Damned. I have a problem with buying comics.
Stop buying them, as I say, as I make my bi-weekly trip to the store and buy something every time.
Yeah, you, bro. At least my shelf's full now. It makes me, I'm satisfied. My whole bookshelf.
Nice.
It's kind of sad. While I've been on this trip, I've bought a lot of digital comics because I don't have a place to ship real life comics or
you can send them to me.
Then I can't read them, dumbass.
This is correct.
That's not the point. He wants free comics.
Yes,
right?
I want a comic sugar daddy.
I did actually buy a couple comics.
Please be our comic book sugar daddy.
Yes.
The other
Please
day.
sponsor us.
I bought Batman Incorporated 1 and 2.
Ooh.
Oh.
So
that
it's
is
part of the
something
new
I have
52.
very mixed feelings on.
So I don't know. I haven't read it yet. But anyway, Spencer read a book. And it's
I read a book. I have feelings.
What is the book?
I'm pretty sure you guys already know what it is, unless you're stupid.
So I have a guess.
It was set up way back in 2016.
It's the illustrated Hobbit comic from way
but I
freak
do
back
want
then.
that.
It's the new critically acclaimed Beowulf comic series.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, that's a thing?
No, I don't know. I would love that.
What?
I was just on the track of like Tolkien.
Interesting.
Anyway.
So I read Batman 3 Jokers.
Whoa. Wasn't that like supposed to come out years ago?
Yes, as was Doomsday Clock. So yeah, I read 3 Jokers, which was a 2020 3-issue miniseries illustrated by Jason Fabok and written by Jeff Johns.
Just come.
So I'm gonna be really careful not to spoil this because I do want both you guys to read it, and this is 100% on the topic list for a little while down the road.
Spoiler alert: there's 3 Jokers.
Yeah. So things that I'm not gonna spoil. I freaking love this art. It's absolutely gorgeous. Think halfway between Brian Boland and Jim Lee. So take all the strengths of both of those types of art and then push them together. So
we're getting the same face every single time.
No,
that's what Jim Lee
definitely doesn't reuse faces, but okay.
No.
Every single Batman face is the same fucking Batman face.
Well, I mean, it is Batman, but
no, it's so dumb. You know, he like every time he draws like the live action version of Batman, uses the same face as a comic book one. It's not the same helmets or like masks as the movies. So fucking annoying. Anyway, so
he's
overrated.
I actually like Jim Lee.
You're very salty. So think Fabok has very Boland-esque like posturing and like paneling, like framing. It's very
cowboy shot.
Picturesque in a way, thematic, one might say.
Cinematography.
But he does have some similar shading to how Jim Lee does his shading, which I do like. It is very,
I'll give him that.
It is very musculature, but it's not to the point of where Jim Lee can get a little crazy. Batman is very, very, very dummy thick in this book, but I like it. It's not
dummy thick as Dark Victory and Long Halloween.
That's very stylistically thick. This is more like, boy got a big back.
You got a dumper?
No. I mean, yes, he's got a decent butt, but like he's got a big back.
Oh, so you're one of those back boys, huh?
I really, really like the art.
Back boy.
Long story short, the art is freaking wonderful. I like all of the different designs. I like how he does Red Hood in particular. It feels a bit fresh compared to how Red Hood's been done for the past few years.
Fresh.
So the cover layout of the book is minor little gripe, but I follow Jason Fabok on Instagram, and he announced when the hardcover books were coming out, and he noted in the comments that he didn't really get to design them. So the cover art is all his. It's cover art that he did, but the collected edition is kind of mishmashed together, and it looks a little ugly. So much of it is spoilers. 90% of it is really good. 10% of it, maybe 15, could, depending upon your perspective, can be really good or really bad. It depends entirely on how you view the Batman universe. And some of it goes against the things that I believe are very core, but the gall to change very core tenets of Batman, like changing status quo, like actually changing the status quo completely, is very big.
Is 3 Jokers its own thing, or is it a part of the new?
Yes and no. So because it's a Black Label book, that kind of got thrown into the air. There's a bit of a conspiracy theory I'll get into in a minute. Basically, the writer and the illustrator both said, yeah, if the fans like it, it's canon. It does fit in. And then since like the collected edition came out like last week, Fabok has said, yeah, it's canon. It does fit in. Whether or not it is acknowledged later is not up to them. Like most things, it can I can say the notes it ends on, it doesn't need to be addressed later. In a way, it does kind of maintain status quo while not doing it at the same time. Conspiracy theory wise, So we're aside from Jeff
We
Johns
all
on
know that you love your conspiracy theories.
a little bit. So aside from this, I don't think it's actually much of a reach. Outside of anything Jeff Johns personal related, just on a writing level, he's a pretty well acclaimed writer. He's pretty popular, but in my opinion, he's never written anything that is very innovative for the most part. He's good at maintaining status quo. He can simplify things like with Green Lantern and the Flash.
Yeah, he's not trying to make anything like new and bright. He's not trying to pioneer any ideas.
Right. He is more of a status quo. We're going to keep it fun and moving forward with hopefully simple things, which isn't a bad thing by any means.
You can keep up with the regular comic
Kind of,
fans,
yeah.
Not the ones that really want new things, but
Right.
because most fans really just want the kind of the same type of thing, slightly changed.
Yeah. So, and he does fit that very well. And that's not a bad thing.
No.
But he does come off a little stale sometimes in terms of the tropes he takes advantages of and how much he writes and how similar it feels or can feel. But at the time that this was announced, as when Doomsday Clock was, he was CCO of DC. Now Jim Lee is CCO. We don't know exactly what happened behind the scenes to cause all those sorts of things, but it feels like this and Doomsday Clock, because they were both delayed for so long, were supposed to either be a bit different or much bigger in terms of impacts on continuity when they were supposed to come out in like 2016, 2017, rather than 2019, 2020, as Rebirth has already been going for like 4 years now. The book goes in a direction which is, I would say, somewhat misleading from where the marketing is telling you it's going. In a way, it's not a bad thing. I don't want to say it's deceitful, but it goes more towards it's more about Batman and then it's about Joker. Okay. Even though everything tells you it's about Joker and what's going on with Joker, it's really a very core Batman book in that way. One of the taglines that I think is very good at encapsulating what actually happened, which was used in the marketing, was it's not me that needs fixing, it's you. I do think that fits in very well with where it does go.
Nothing new about that type of phrase.
Not really. I'm trying not to spoil things, man.
So I know that you're very excited about this. We'll just have to make this an actual topic.
Yeah, we should cut this short so you don't spoil it.
Yeah,
because
I really like Jason and Barbara in this book. Okay. That's something I can say. I like how focused the book is on them compared to other characters. Jacob, what have you been watching?
I was not expecting you to pick me first, you big jerk. I started a TV show called American Horror Story.
Oh
boy.
That's an odd one for you to choose.
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty well into horror stuff anyway.
But this type of horror?
Well, that's the thing. So for anybody who doesn't know, this was a show made for FX, I believe. And each season has a different theme. I actually accidentally started on season 8. Thank you very much, Netflix. I hit the big ass play button and it was like, oh, play the latest season on Netflix? Sure. It's like, no, there's 7 seasons to watch before that. And actually,
you can
season 8.
Around. I can't believe it's been going that long.
No, it's on like season 13 or something right now.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So anyway, I was reading the trivia about season 8 and it ties together pieces from season 1 and season 3, I think. So I was like, well, can't live with this. I got to go back. So I watched the first 5 episodes. I'm about halfway through season 1. And it's interesting, as Colin said, that type of horror. So far, the first season isn't about monsters or scary things in the closet or under the bed, really. It's more domestic horror, kind of like...
good way to put it.
Creepy things in the bed.
Like Stephen King is really good for explaining things around. It's like a good old-fashioned small town, and it's the neighbor that is the serial killer or things like that. But also Stephen King has a tendency to show bad relationships between, parents and kids or parents with parents, like mom and dad fighting or alcoholic, whoever,
Yep.
or abuse, things like that.
So how'd you
Yeah,
feel about the
it's
first season?
really personal horror, I guess would be a good way to
It's
describe
kinky
it.
horror is where you're going.
Yeah,
No, it's
pretty much.
not. No, that's not what I'm getting at.
But
okay,
it is.
how did you feel about the first season?
I'm only halfway through. My point was that it's very uncomfortable horror to watch. It's not like campy horror, which I find fun to watch because you just sit there and laugh at how
Like
bad
Friday
it
the
is.
13th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's-
Jacob's a bit weird.
it's very uncomfortable because it's personal horror.
I tried watching it. I couldn't.
It's tough.
I
but-
even like tried going to a different season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you can do that because every season is like its own storyline.
For the most part, yeah.
And
So,
sorry, it's your topic. Go.
no, so far it's like I said, it's uncomfortable, but that's kind of the point of well-made horror, I guess. So, I'm probably gonna continue watching it.
Yeah, I can't watch that. It's just like too much for me.
Yeah, I do agree.
It
I
is
like horror.
extremely dark.
Yeah, I like psychological horror. I don't like domestic horror. It makes me uncomfortable.
I already think human beings are horrible enough. I don't
Mhm.
always need to be reminded the whole time.
Yep.
So it's kind of funny since you two don't care. The first season is about a family moving into a house, and they're told that it's so cheap right now because somebody died in it, and the family's like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool. Like we can live with that." And as the season goes on, it keeps going back further and further in time, showing that many, many, many people have died. So I'm only halfway through the season, and the ghosts of all the past times are starting to haunt the house. And some ghosts are fighting with other ghosts because the first group of ghosts is like messing with the family that's living there now, and the other group of ghosts is like trying to defend the family that's there. So that's the only humor I found in it so far is there's so many
Ghosts
dead
fighting
people.
each other.
Yeah, it's kind of a goofy
Ghosticuffs?
topic.
Ghosticuffs. I like that.
There were a couple other times too that I can't talk about because it would sound very disturbing and psychopathic, but some of the effects
Wow.
were kind of goofy too.
Yeah.
And it was like supposed to be scary. It just came off goofy. But that's because I watch a lot of horror stuff. So
You are freaky, my friend.
thank you. Colin, have you been watching anything?
Yeah, but I think for the sake of time, I'll skip and talk about it next week.
Oh,
So
now I'm
Spencer,
intrigued. I watched
Well
the Lego
then.
Batman movie.
You watched what?
I watched the Lego Batman movie.
And
I still like it a lot
of course, there's got to be a problem with you if you don't like that movie.
to an extent.
I
Jacob, you have
something
problems.
I have something I don't like about that movie.
No,
What?
you can have something you don't like about it, but like if you don't like it,
What?
period.
You gonna
got a
talk
problem.
smack about my precious Lego Batman?
Most of the voice actors.
Really?
I
Interesting.
don't like that Will Arnett is the Batman. I think
Really? I freaking love that choice.
okay, so he's okay, but I still like freaking what's his face, Kevin Conroy.
Well,
Oh my word,
he's the
yes,
perfect one.
but it's supposed to be a
So-
joke. It's meta.
bro! Why?
like-
not every single
like-
cartoon Batman has to be voiced by Kevin.
Like you have
Conroy.
a
We have
weird.
Okay,
so
fair.
many already.
You have
There's-
a goofy dude
that's
bro
fair.
voicing Batman. He's a
But-
dweeb.
Still,
No,
I don't want.
No,
I don't want
Stop
Kevin
it.
Conroy trying to be a dweeb. That would taint
Dweeb-
my image of him.
Leave the man be, okay? If he's gotta play only good Batman characters, like okay, serious Batman characters.
There you go.
Correction. I like
Also-
different voice actors for Batman.
I really.
that Joker drove me crazy. It was a
I
terrible
hate
Joker.
it, but
He
that's
looks
why I
so
like
weird.
it. I love it.
Like he was so. I like that they changed his face. Like it
It's
gave
so
it
weird.
a new Lego Joker face instead
Yes.
of like the original because that was like more serious and comic booky. This is like
It's
goofy
It's
and
goofy.
kitsch. Yeah, he looks so different.
Freaking Sauron and Voldemort are in this movie. It's goofy.
Right. And I want to back up my comment and say I don't need, the Dark Knight's Joker in a freaking Lego Batman movie, but they made him way too goofy and dumb in this movie. I don't know.
I think that's kind of the point. It's a Lego movie. It's supposed to be goofy.
It was too goofy though. Like you
It's a
can have
Lego
a goofy
movie.
Joker.
It's a
movie about Legos.
This is coming from the dude who doesn't like any of the recent Joker adaptations because they're too self-serious.
That's
make
fair,
no
too.
sense.
I know.
I just like how goofy it is. Like
He's
I
so
like
high maintenance about Joker.
He kind of is, which is funny because he doesn't really like the character that much. Like overall, it's very strange. I just like the fact that he adopts Richard Grayson on accident. Like it's so
and he doesn't even look like he's like a mix between Richard Grayson and Carrie Kelly with the green glasses.
Like he's just got big freaking eyes and glasses, and he's just adorable.
Yeah, the kids at the adoption center, they call me Dick, and he's like, "Oh, kids are cruel."
Those jokes are excellent. More the main plot line being about like Batman and Joker's relationship, such untreaded territory, right? But I like the fact that it's so goofy. It's like it really is like jilted lovers. It's hilarious. It's like, no, you mean nothing. It's like, no, you're lying very clearly. But whatever. I like it. It's funny. I still think the original Lego movie is better. But
I want to watch. Wait, what'd you watch Lego Batman on?
What do you mean?
Like, do you own it on disc?
Maybe.
Oh my word! You have so many just random ass movies.
Because I like a lot of movies.
I too like the original Lego movie better.
Yes.
Oh, fuck you.
You. So Jacob, have you been watching anything else? Okay, I guess it's Mandalorian time.
Yes, I'm good with that segment.
So episode 3. Does anybody remember the actual name of the episode? Because I don't. It was the Hyrus or something like that.
Baby go long.
Oh my gosh.
Baby go genocide's good.
Okay, so Colin, you remember the thing last week
Chapter 11
you said about this episode that you really weren't supposed to say because we weren't supposed to talk about it last week?
No, I don't remember.
Wow.
What are we supposed to talk about?
So in this episode, Frog Lady finds her frogman. Yeah. Like the most wholesome moment in all of Star Wars happens. The music swells. It's just cute. Like they're just running towards each other. It's very simple and clean. You had a comment about that last week.
Oh, that reminded me of you and Grace. Yeah, you were so the frog people.
I rewatched it and I'm like, yeah, no, he's 100% right.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I finally found Spencer's true Star Wars character.
I am a frogman.
I always try to figure out who you were in Star Wars, and then I saw this episode. I'm like, oh my word.
So wait. So what does that make Colin and Abby?
Ooh.
I'm probably the Mandalorian.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
If I'm a f***ing frogman, you are not a badass.
Okay, I'm an Ewok.
Thank you.
Shut the f*** up.
You are definitely an Ewok.
If we're going to be goofy, I guess I would be an Ewok.
Yeah, you would be.
And honestly, you'd be, what is Jar Jar Binks again?
A Gungan?
No.
Yeah, you're a Gungan.
I am not a Gungan.
Oh my word.
Break out of here.
Or like some elf type creature.
Ouch, there's no need to rip the man to shreds.
If I'm an Ewok.
But at least you're a teddy bear.
Shut
you just
up.
thought you were
him
gonna
a
call me
racist Jamaican stereotype. Ouch.
Yeah.
This is why Colin and I aren't friends. I figured you'd say
Next week's gonna be rough.
Next week, Civil War 3. Join in.
Next
I
week's
figured
rough in general.
Colin was gonna describe me as one of Darth Maul's race of people.
Zebrax.
You're a Zebrak.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this episode we finally get to see Bo-Katan in live action. That was great.
Basically,
I didn't know that was her voice. That's the actual
the
voice
actress.
actress. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's so perfect.
Yeah.
That's
the armor,
so weird.
The way the armor looked so good in some shots, it genuinely looked like they had just put a frame of animation up. Like it looked so close to how it looks in the freaking Clone Wars. It's ridiculous.
There's some people, like some stupid like new Star Wars like the fans, like female fans that are like, oh my gosh, they have boob armor. How else do you think armors on females looks? Is it supposed to be flat?
Can we not talk about the boob armor thing? Can we avoid that topic entirely? Because that's a really long conversation to have.
It's just so annoying.
Yes.
That's how armor works. Period. That's how armor works. And also, it's not Baby Yoda genocide.
No.
It's unfertilized eggs.
Yes. Did you guys notice that?
Are freaking talking about the Clone Wars cartoon, and I recognized the actress for who she really is, Katie Sackhoff, who was in Battlestar Galactica and Longmire and Oculus. She was in Oculus as well.
That sounds so familiar.
So
anyway,
very important thing. I think this is the first official canon sighting of a sweater in Star Wars, because one of the freaking characters right at the beginning is wearing like a bulky green cable knit sweater, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. You're just a part of a cult. No, I'm not. This is the way. F you.
That was a really big thing.
Yeah, dude.
I really like that, honestly.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing coming from her, because she plays both sides, because she was a part of Death Watch.
Yes, but Death Watch wasn't a cult yet, kinda. But anyways,
so I had a couple of thoughts back to the frog couple. It kind of felt like that was a cliffhanger in episode 2, and it was like within 5 minutes of the new episode that was resolved. It felt like we were shortchanged on that cliffhanger a little bit.
I like the fact that they got babysitting duty. I think it's cute.
Oh, yeah, no, I like that.
They're just chilling with the baby.
What cliffhanger?
Just the frog lady's storyline wasn't resolved at the end of the second episode. You're like, oh, they're barely limping along in space. Like, are they going to make it? What's the next episode going to be?
You have a problem
and
with
it's
that.
like, yeah, and they land and her story's over. And it's like, oh,
that's fine. We had 3 episodes.
What if they like at the end of the first season, they reassemble the team and we get fighting frog people? I hope it doesn't happen, but that would be funny.
I don't want to see that.
I don't either. That would be very goofy, but it'd be funny.
So on the spot, I'm realizing that the other Mandalorian-looking people, at least, that you guys recognize, I had no idea about because I haven't seen the Clone Wars. So there's clearly a history there that I don't understand.
Yeah.
So you guys know if she's villain or hero or whatever, and
she's solid.
She's good.
I don't know
she's
that
the Queen
at
of
all.
Mandalore.
Kind of.
Even after
you'll find
watching this new episode, so
you'll find out more.
She's the Queen of Mandalore.
Should have,
but she needs the Darksaber to officially be the Queen of Mandalore.
Yep.
Well,
she's also Obi-Wan's sister-in-law, kind of, but not officially.
Yes.
That's so weird. Anyways.
So anyway,
I really like the fact that they're just like, nah, you're part of a cult. We like you, but you're a bit of a dweeb.
You're a bit of a dork.
That was
like
funny.
They all took off their helmets, and he's like,
"What?
Where did you get that armor? What? Is there no more Mandalorians anymore? Am I the last one?"
And it just flies off like
you guys.
Just flies off. Such a sad man. Also, the baby does many cute things.
I love the baby.
That's all you need to say. The baby does more cute things.
He's starting to be able to like talk more.
Yes. He's far more baby languagey now.
Yep. He has baby language in him.
Yes.
I would also like to point out that the first episode of season 2 was 54 minutes long, and this one was 35.
I did notice that.
So, yeah, I noticed.
They really just seem
significantly shorter.
They really just seem to let the director and the editors just do whatever the hell they want with each episode, which I can definitely respect, but it is kind of weird. Especially if you binge them, you notice the episode differences very strongly.
So I'm only watching it one at a time every week. So I'm not binging it, but I definitely noticed that it was shorter just by watching it, once a week. It was
the first season had a bit of that.
This is over already? I didn't notice in the first season.
Yeah. I thought this episode was shot really well. It wasn't like riveting or anything exciting, but it did feel very
made me happy.
Yeah, like it's going back to the frog people. Like it's not because it's of massive importance, but it's like kind of indicative of like it's not overly indulgent in terms of cinematography. This is the episode that was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. She did, I think it was episode 4 of last season. I believe she did the one with the village. I think that was episode 4. But it felt very down, like very not flashy. It was down to earth. Just let the moments breathe. Like, yes, look at the cute frog couple, and then just chills there. Like, no weird camera movements, nothing crazy. Just frog couple and their eggs. So silly. Star Wars is amazing. It's silly.
I'm so glad that we're getting Star Wars still, but it's in like series form. And it's not specifically about the Jedi. It's about
it's not.
Also, yes. I kind of think that Star Wars was built more, at least parts of Star Wars were built better for television.
Yep.
More in just even in terms of like the Clone Wars and Rebels, because you can do really goofy things. Like you can be silly, and it's still like the battle droids are stupidly like even in the movies they're really goofy and it feels out of place. But you do it in animation, they have characters of basically just being idiots, and it's absolutely hilarious and silly, and it appeals to kids and adults. But it's still Star Wars, you know? So, main topic o'clock?
So, tonight's topic is Watchmen, the comic written in the 80s, written by somebody. I don't know. The point is, Colin, how much of it did you actually read?
Half of it.
Wow.
Nice. That is a solid attempt. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Should we give him a silver sticker?
More of a bronze. Because
it matches his aesthetic.
We were supposed to talk about it like the third week of the show, and he's still only halfway through the book. So I think bronze is good.
I can talk about it without having to read about it because there's so much that I already know from just conversations and other things. But
okay, Spencer should give an honest to goodness, legit summary about it though, because I was speeding through to get to the point.
All right.
Okay, so basically, what if superheroes but IRL, but before it was an overdone trope?
When it was first started correctly.
Yes. So this is satire of the comic book industry, basically.
Okay. I meant a more simple summary, as though
I can
like this.
It
came out in 86 and 87, and it was written by Alan Moore. It was 12 issues.
Illustrated by Dave Gibbons.
It was 12 issues, and it was about satire of superheroes and the way that we know it. And the plot line is superheroes trying to defeat the imminent crisis that is about to happen, which is nukes. And they're trying, and one of the characters is trying to unite the nations, but not through fists and not through fighting and not through diplomacy, but giant alien squid with
it was
psychological powers.
Very clearly written during the Cold War.
Yep.
Where America was afeared of being bombed by the Russians. So this reminds me of something that I was watching. I finished Watchmen.
Oh, I was wondering why you weren't bringing that
up. Because I forgot and it wasn't in my notes.
Nice.
So
quickly reverting back. 3-sentence thoughts.
Yes. No, just one. After the tough pill to swallow of the first 2 episodes where they set up the story, the show comes together and wraps up very nicely in the end with a very interesting story.
Nothing really ends.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Big blue god dong.
I hate Dr. Manhattan.
But back to
cut. I'm pretty sure he was too.
All right.
I'm not cutting that. I am not cutting that.
Oh boy.
So one thing I got out of this was that I don't usually like 80s art or coloring. The coloring is well done, and I do enjoy the massive amounts of yellows, pinks, and reds, which these are basic colors in comic books, especially with DC. They had their basic layout of colors for some time. And I actually have the layout saved onto my phone, of course. But how it was used was quite nice. Instead of a mixture of colors, like trying to make texture, they kind of solidified the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Instead of having that as everything as a focus point, they actually honed in on the characters and their conversations and the actions that were going on, except for rather than that with the background images.
Yes. That 9-panel grid, though.
9-panel grid, though. I like the 9.
Very integral to the pacing. I must say it excellent
pacing. Perfect.
I'm gonna come right out and say that I didn't notice the 9-panel pacing layout thing until I read Doomsday Clock.
Huh.
Whack.
Interesting.
It was like I've read Watchmen 1.5 times and just never noticed it. I thought it was like Colin was saying, typical of the 80s comics, really, because I haven't read a whole lot of those. But then I read Doomsday Clock and I was like, wow, okay, that was typical of original Watchmen. That's a good detail that they included.
Yeah,
Or
it works
kept.
really well because if it's a meta satire of the comic book industry and the tropes that were already there, and the fact that it wasn't taken seriously and blah blah blah, using kind of the most generic comic layout is very useful for that. I really like the Black Freighter interludes. I like metaphors. I have a thing for metaphors in case you guys didn't notice.
So I also want to say something before we go on with the Black Freighter. So the Black Freighter is a popular comic series through the whole comic, because since superheroes are a real thing in this universe, they're not popular anymore. And now what's popular in their day and time is pirate comics. And this is one of the popular ones, Black Freighter, which is a significance to the story and to the characters which live in it.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Encyclopedia,
You're
for
welcome.
taking my job away.
So I need to read it again, because after having read it 1.5 times and seen the movie 2 or 3 times, I only understood the Black Freighter metaphor after my last viewing. So
Didn't I explain it to you that time?
yes,
Okay.
yes, you did,
Gotcha.
because I asked you after having Googled it. I'm not very smart.
So it's connected with Ozymandias, if I'm correct.
Correct. It is a parallel of
Correct.
his story, in case you can't pick up on the emotional journey
hero-
that he's on.
His hero's journey is saving.
Not a hero's journey.
is saving everyone for the sake of his own humanity. But
at what cost?
What cost? His cost was ridiculous in killing billions of people just to unite nations. So we don't know if it was, you could take it as he was doing the unthinkable so no one else had to, or he was using the superhero ideology as a way to serve his own pride.
Yes. And that is probably one of the biggest.
That's definitely what it is. Probably.
One of the bigger parts of Watchmen is that open-ended ending of, even though it's a very concrete book in terms of what actually happens, a lot of it is up for interpretations in terms of characters' intents.
We love interpreting the wizard's magic words.
Yes,
I like your funny words, Magic Man.
And yeah, Alan Moore is also literally a wizard. So yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I really like the Black Freighter. That's always something that I attach to whenever I read it. It works really well as an interlude and a little bit of a breather from the plot, as well as the other in-canon materials that they use in between issues.
Yeah.
That's what I was just about to get into. How did you like that compared to the ones that they have in Doomsday Clock?
I find almost everything Watchmen does to be vastly superior, that stuff included. But that's not really a point of comparison. That's like comparing apples and oranges.
Yep.
In my opinion.
I don't think I've read all of the extras after Black Freighter that, at the end of the issue, all the extra paperwork and stuff in original Watchmen. I've read most of it, but it's some of it is just so dry and boring to look at that
Well,
it's
you mean
like,
you don't like reading business
break this.
expenses inside a comic book?
no.
Just
That's-
adds to the drama.
Yeah. So I give it a point for adding that much detail, but it's detail
Sure.
that I didn't need.
It's not technically needed. But the whole
Yeah.
point of this comic is to be, or this whole graphic novel, like Spencer said, is satire, and it's basically, it's not what everyone else takes it to be. Like, it's a superhero comic, but it's really not at the same time.
It's
Because
not.
like growing up, I saw Watchmen as like a bunch of superheroes and shit, and I thought it was cool as but like, it's sad now that I realize what it really is. The Watchmen are sad. They're sad people.
Yes, they're interesting and can do some cool stuff, but like, yeah, they're human beings.
Dr.
A coup-
Manhattan is
a couple-
so dumb.
I mean, yes, but also, what would you expect from a human being given that level of power and knowledge and potential after being a human? What would you expect?
Okay, so having that type of power and already being human at one point, why do people keep saying that he is unable to relate to human beings?
Because he perceives all of time at the same time. So the something that's really
He can
relevant,
still relate to them because he was human at one point.
no. Let me get into it. So it's especially relevant in Doomsday Clock. He's locked into determinism because he sees everything at once. The big ball of timey-wimey. Instead of seeing linear moments or a timeline, he sees everything, and he exists in every moment that he is present
That's
in.
true. That was shown better in the show.
Yes, I would actually agree. So he exists in all realities and timelines at the same time. So what he sees in the future, he already believes is going to happen. The thing of why one of the strong points of Doomsday Clock, in my opinion, is the fact that it finally gives him basically the kick in the balls to say you still have a choice to determine the future, even though you have knowledge of how it could go, you can still change it. He basically becomes paralyzed by choice because he feels like he
Okay.
doesn't have one, but he has all the choices. He just chooses not to take them and then says he doesn't have a choice.
Yep. So he tries to see it from a, I guess, logical point of view.
In a sense, but it's self-defeating
Yeah.
and inconsistent logic.
Okay. Owlman's sad, and Silk Spectre is kind of doesn't know what she wants. Doesn't know what she wants.
Big Blue Man sad.
And Big Blue Man's sad and dumb. And wishes he could
Rorschach
die.
anger.
Rorschach anger and wishes he-
Ozymandias dumb.
Okay, I can kind of relate to Rorschach in a way because he's uncomfortable.
With everything.
Yes, he's uncomfortable with people. I'm gonna leave it as that. He's I relate to him in the way that he's uncomfortable with people and how people act.
Yeah,
and I'll leave it there.
He was stunted as a child, so he doesn't know how to interact with people or like understand other things other than what he knows.
Mhm.
And Ozymandias is just really, really far up his own ass.
Oh,
like
yeah.
really
That
far up his
was-
own ass. In a sense, the comedian is the only character who is in a decent place, even though he is a rapist and a freaky man.
So
Because
He's
that
more
was-
normal out of all of them, which is
it
the awful
so
part.
f***ed up. That is kind of the thing, is like he still does understand that it's all a big f***ing joke because society is already falling apart. It never really existed. We just put a layer of niceness on.
Would you agree, Jacob?
I wasn't listening because I was waiting for the opportunity to go back to Colin identifying as Rorschach because of the amount of times that Colin has gone off on me about Rorschach and how much of a sociopath he is.
I mean, that's
Like,
definitely more so me lecturing you about that,
explosion
but I think Colin just relates to sitting down and eating cold beans.
Oh yeah, having like really shitty meals if I'm alone. But no, I relate to him not in a way that I want to. It's not like how like you relate to some characters because you want to be that way. That's why you
Right.
relate
No,
to
I
that
understand.
character.
Like
Huh?
he doesn't deal well with people at all. He doesn't relate to people. He doesn't talk well with people.
Not to that not with me relating to him, not to that extent, because I can relate to people.
Well, you're clearly having a conversation right now and not calling us filthy degenerates, so that helps.
He came smashing through my door, calling me a filthy degenerate.
I did.
I think I just revealed too many of my cards, but okay.
I just relate to Rorschach on a level that I wish I hadn't related to him, but I do relate to him on that.
I hear that. Level. It is a very difficult read. It is thick. It is heavy. I definitely did not understand it the first time I read it, and thus didn't like it. I tried it that half time again and got distracted with too many other pretty shiny books.
Ooh, I relate.
I have watched the movie a couple of times, and that has definitely helped me understand the story better.
There is a motion comic version as well.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically panel for panel.
I could probably watch that. That would probably help me understand it.
Probably.
So yeah, I really, really, really should read it again now that I know where the story's going and what the point is. But it's just such a heavy, not fun book. It's not afraid to kick you in the balls.
Definitely agree.
So that's kind of my deterrent from saying I enjoy this book, because it's so heavy and rough on the reader.
One might say the reading of Watchmen never really ends.
I don't understand the joke that you're making there.
Because the tagline is that nothing ever ends. Everything's like a cycle of violence and patheticness. And also the fact that Watchmen keeps getting added onto, even though it really wasn't supposed to be. The fact that it never is allowed to end, even though it was supposed to be an ending book. It was supposed to just be a one thing and be done with it. That concludes Watchmen discussion for now. Housekeeping wise, Patreon shout out is necessary. Thank you, as always, to our one patron, Business Casual. You literally keep the lights on. Just you.
You alone shine a light.
Yes.
As mentioned in last week's episode, my Business Casual this week is yet again my polar bear flannel jammies. So
nice.
Yeah, I kind of dig this online meeting because I can have adult drinkies and wear my flannel jammies and not be afraid of being raped by the two other dudes.
I am wearing a purple V-neck sweater and pants.
I'm naked.
And Colin is nude yet again.
You really gotta get some clothes on, man.
I refuse.
So, thank you again to Business Casual for your support.
Yeah. So
I would really like to hear soon what art concept you are going to choose from our local artist and rap extraordinaire. Really, we call him a wordsmith, Colin. So
I think you look professional retard.
Yeah, that's better.
That's what I was getting
That's
at.
better. Yeah, you're professional.
So anyway,
that fixates over everything.
We
as
look
I
forward
literally
to hearing
have your
from
art as my phone wallpaper.
I know, it's so weird. Why is your girlfriend
point
not
is
phone wallpaper?
Switch it out.
Called out on air.
I switch it out. I keep the lock.
Yeah, you switch it out to mine
every week. Jeez and crow.
So anyway,
and usually the lock screen and the home screen are two separate things. Give me a break. At least I don't have anime girls on my phone.
There's no anime girls on my.
It's right on the back of your phone, you idiot.
Yeah, there's a sticker on my phone. It's from Evangelion. You be quiet.
So yes, as we just said, there is a Patreon. So if anybody does want to support us, we do have a Patreon on patreon.com/dimecomicbros.
Right now, Colin is showing Spencer a picture.
Wesley has fallen prey to the Raid Shadow Legends gods.
My big brother, the other professional retard in Texas.
Wow.
Raid Shadow Legends. How about you fuck off, Shade Red? Raid Shadow Legends. Fuck off.
Rattle
I don't want
Legends.
you in my life.
All of that needs to get cut.
We will never do ads by Shade Rattle Legends or any others.
That
Shade Rattle Legends.
That's the one you just said.
True.
Shade Rattle Legends.
Yeah, that's not. We're not doing mobile game ads if we ever get sponsored. Yeah. So if anybody does want to,
Oh! Speaking of mobile games, you're gonna be very
AFK
proud of
Arena.
me. Nope.
What?
I started playing Pokemon Go today.
Oh, nice.
It's my first Pokemon game ever.
Oh, it's so cute. It's a rough one
So
to start
if
with.
our listeners want to try to friend me or some stupid shit on there, I think that's an important aspect of the game. I don't know. I just started.
Kinda. I was.
Let's not talk about it.
Why? Pokemon Go is so 2018, so it's not popular anymore, and that's why I can get on the bandwagon.
What are you, a
my word.
hipster like Colin and me?
Kind of a backwards hipster, so I think they call that a boomer.
I see. So if anybody does want to support us on Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/dimecomicbros. We have all sorts of fun stuff like stickers and topic voting. You can get some art commissions, all sorts of fun stuff. You can visit our website at dimecomicbros.podbean.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And obviously, listen wherever it is you're listening. Feel free to please subscribe, like, follow, whatever the heck your platform supports. Everything does go a long way. And next week will just be the two of you, talking about Gotham by Gaslight.
Yes, sir.
Quis custodiet ipsos custodes.
My dick fell off. That's what it translates to, guys.
Okay.
All right, have a good night.
I like how you keep your background on just because you don't want to flex your apartment or, hotel room on us like we're going to feel bad.
No, I do it because it's nerdy backgrounds, and this is the only time I'll be able to use it.
Go on more Zoom calls, man.
Don't worry, I'll put like hentai mommy milkers on our background.
He's fucking no.
Hentai
No.
mommy milkers, am I right?
No, you're very wrong.
That's gonna be the opener right there. Yeah.
How about no?
Mommy milkers.
So, Colin, before we get going, how have classes been? Did you pass today?
That'll be a good noise. We were, for those who are listening, we were poking each other. Spencer and I were poking each other like Lemon Grab from Adventure Time.
And I was trying to hold a conversation like an adult. How have your classes been?
Oh, shit.
Nice.
I hate
Are
it.
you going to pass?
No clue. I have no clue.
All right. Shall we start the show?
Yep.
I need more liquid. Colin, pee in my cup.
Ooh.
All right.
Whoa.
Come
No.
here.
Come
Come here.
Not really. Stop taking my jokes so seriously.
Well, don't say jokes that you don't want taken seriously. Oh, I kind of want coffee.
Oh no.
Hold on. I think I hear Abby.
Slurps aggressively. You are so disgusting.
You fucking love it.
No.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Hello.
Hi, Abby.
Bye.
Love you, Abby.
I
Stop
love you
being so
too.
Jacob loves
I
you
love
too.
you more. I love you more.
You love Jacob?
Aww.
She loves you, Jacob.
Suck it, Colin. He loves me.
I love the Jacob.
You were right. It's only 5.
Longest Japanese.
I know
Retard.
that. But a weeb is a encompassing term for all of it.
It's a weeb is an encompassing term for anime. Weeb is anime.
It's more inclusive than
No, weeb is Japanese and anime.
that. Mm-hmm.
Not all Asian, Japanese, and Korean, Vietnamese in the trees culture.
I could definitely go for some pho right now, though.
For some what?
Pho, the soup.
Pho? You?
No, pho, the soup. The soup.
A poo-poo platter?
I could also go for some of that.
Go for some poo-poo.
No. We still have housekeeping, peasant.
Yeah, sit down. We got housekeeping. Also, while we're doing outtakes, I really, 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 really liked in Mando episode 3 that an AT-AT was the crane. That just made me so happy inside, but probably because I work with cranes all day. So
Fair.
It's going
Colin
down.
is a cum rog. I was trying to say rag, and then I wanted to say sock.
Cum rock.
A cum rock. That's gonna suck for you, bro.
They call that a kidney stone.
Oh, that's a bullet.
My word.